Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Top Flight Pod. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. We're back in studio today, beautiful Austin, Texas. I'm with B. What's up, mate? How are you doing? Welcome to the pod.
Man, a lot of stuff going on. Happy to be here as always. It's been a minute since I've been on camera. It's been a minute since we've been in the stew, but we're here and happy to get going again, man.
Now, on the space for the Seattle game, post-match, I told everybody, I was like, if you've been waiting, you've been asking for the English pod, there's a surprise for everybody on Wednesday. Here we are, miércoles. For the regular supporters, obviously you have this podcast, but also we will be having a Patreon pod talk at the end of this to recap the trip to Minnesota, what we lived out there, what we saw, and if we would go back. But stay tuned for that. That's Patreon pod talk at the end. But no, a lot to talk about this Seattle game, mate. You know, it's a bit of a return pod, right? Obviously, we don't have Bali, we don't have Primo here, but this is our comeback to the scene with the English pod. Shout out to the Spanish lads.
Yeah, this is more. Think of this as an episode as like a little appetizer. You know, we
There we go.
will get Bali back in stew. We will get Primo back in here, and we'll get rolling. So, little soft start to go.
I like the appetizer analogy because you gotta let Rodo cook. You gotta let Rodo cook.
I think he's done cooking, bro. I think
Is
he's
he?
done. Yeah, I think so.
Is he?
I think
don't
so.
know. I don't know. I think it's a slow roast.
Okay,
It's
bet,
a slow
bet, bet.
roast. But no, shout out to everybody that obviously supports the page. We've had an enormous amount of support the last couple of weeks. You know, things are getting into a crucial part of the season. A lot of people are getting interested or their interest is returning to Austin FC. You know, the past couple of years, hell, this season has been kind of rough, if we're being quite honest, when we're talking about consistent results. But now the team is in a position where they're fighting for a trophy October 1st. They're in a position where playoffs aren't secured yet, but they have the advantage, above a lot of the teams, and it really depends on Austin where they're going to finish in that playoff picture. But nothing is secured yet. So, like I said, we're going to talk about those things here and there. So, just welcome everybody, and we're very, very excited to be here. Shout out to the folks on Patreon, and shout out to the folks on the Discord chat. We'll get to y'all's Patreon pod talk here in a bit. So, mate, let's get into the Austin FC match that happened this past weekend. They defeated the Seattle Sounders 2-1 against all odds, I must say. I don't know. There was a lot of people that, obviously had maybe Seattle above this Austin FC, and this isn't just Seattle Sounders. This is the 2025 Leagues Cup winners, right? They defeated Messi and friends. There was a chippy match or whatnot.
Spanked them.
There was spits. There was fights. There was punches being thrown. There was suspensions that were really slap on the hands to some Miami players. That's another conversation. But what I'm trying to say is this Seattle team coming into Austin, it was no slouch.
Yeah.
It was going to be a difficult match from the get-go, and it was a difficult match as we saw it. It took Mirtu Usuni's goal at the 96th minute to ultimately secure all 3 points. But I want to ask you, B, from your point of view, how'd you see it?
I mean, yeah, those are great points you're making. I mean, despite Seattle even winning the Leagues Cup, Seattle is a club that throughout the MLS you respect.
100%.
Seattle is an established club. They're very successful. They've got plenty of history. And also another caveat is that we've never beaten Seattle at home.
Facts. I can't believe I left
Yeah.
that out.
We have yet to beat Seattle at home. We
No,
did it
ever.
ever.
Ever. First win
That
against
is-
Seattle
that
in
is
club
wild.
history.
I thought it was first
No,
win.
no.
Wow. Well,
no, ever.
Well, we got it done. We finally got to beat Seattle at home in a very dramatic fashion. To be honest with you, the game kind of panned out the way that I thought it would. Seattle kind of having the momentum, kind of, being kind of the dictators. I mean, we're going to break down to the goals, but obviously I'm very happy. This is another historic achievement. This season it was a rough start, but I think we're making history. In fact, that we beat Seattle, we're in a final. And what a way to at this part of the season to get 3 crucial points at home versus Seattle. And, a lot of talk is going to go to Osuni. A lot of talk is going to go to CJ. But to me and to a lot of fans out there, Brad Stuver, bro. Brad Stuver. What a performance by Stuver. I mean, what a player for us. He's been here since the beginning. And he has proven his worth tenfold. And I'm very happy for the win.
100%. I think we could start off with Brad Stuver. I think that's a great way to, start off the pod. 8.8 match rating according to FootMob. Again, the Austin FC player is the highest rated player on the pitch for both sides. Danny Pereira was the highest rated player in Minnesota for the U.S. Open Cup semifinal with no goals, no assists. That's crazy.
That's
Higher
crazy.
than guys that had assists, that had goals. Danny had one of those matches. But Brad Stuver, 8.8 match rating. They gave him about, I think it was 5 saves in total. And I kind of want to ask you, mate, out of all of them, which one do you think was the best one? Because it was the Ferreira one that he stole from his boots when Ferreira tried to dribble around Stuver and embarrass him, right? He ended up looking like a dummy. Then you had the 1v1 against Jordan Morris where Stuver just kind of flicks his arm up, his hand up, and it doesn't even go to the corner kicks. Fatok retrieves the ball. And then there's the Christian Roldan header that was the first the header from the clip that we posted. And you know, the fact that he gets a hand on it and it hits the post, that's last second reflexes, mate. So out of those three,
it's
right? Which one?
The latter. The header.
The header for Christian Roldan.
For me, Ochoa-esque save.
You had to get
Ochoa-esque save. You know, that what a save. I mean,
what a save.
That was been my favorite. Although the Morris one is a very, very good save. To be honest, Stuver kept us in the game to allow us the opportunity to win this game. I think he doesn't fly under the radar overall. Austin FC fans know what Stuver is, but I think to this game he kind of flew under the radar a little bit.
Now, some fans on the comments, they were asking questions, right? They were saying, hey, why did the man of the match go to Mirto Usuni? It should have been Brad Stuver. You know, it was clear and obvious who the reason was that he got Austin FC the win. Although Usuni called game with his goal, it was a team goal as well. It's not like it was an individual effort. Yeah. We'll get to his goal here in a bit. And fans were just asking a question. I think it's an okay question to ask. But this is what I said to those fans, or what I'm telling these fans. I don't know who picks the man of the match at the end of an Austin FC home game, right? It's not necessarily the league. You know, the league doesn't call the people and say, hey, give it to this guy. You know how they have the little drumstick and he beats it in front of the supporter section. It wouldn't surprise me if humble king Brad Stuver says, you know what? I've had so many of these games. Let's give it to Usuni so he can build his confidence. Usuni probably didn't go to sleep that night, bro. His story was people sharing his goal, and tagging him. He needed this moment, mate, so bad. And honestly, I'm happy it went to Mirto Usuni. I'm not discrediting anything that Brad Stuver did. But again, I go to the point. Don't be surprised if Stuver was like, nah, you know what? Give it to Mirto.
That was the first thing I thought about when we talked about this. Was like, I mean, Stuver, he's great, but I mean, how many man of the matches has he had? I mean, to your point, I wouldn't be surprised if he said give it to Usuni. And
it's a great gesture from a leader, from a captain. It's a great gesture.
And if you let it up to me, I think I would go still with Usuni. I know people are gonna be like, oh, what? But just following this team and how great Stuart's been for us, I think we gotta give it to Usuni. Get him. Like you said, he was up for it.
He needed this confidence boost. I mean, he's now going into the final. I think, you know, with in his mind, he's like, hey, this is my team. It's finally on my shoulders. And that's what you want from a guy that you paid $12 million, that you invested $12 million in. And Usuni, very cheeky with MLS Season Pass, he told them, because they asked him about like his price tag, what he thinks about it. And he said, he was like, look, nowhere in the world, when you invest money, do you get an instant return.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much saying, give me a little bit more time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to kind of get into the Mirto Usuni topic because, of course, he's the one that called game. He had the goal at the 96th minute. Brad Stuver and Mirto Usuni were named into the MLS team of the match day. Stuver as the starting keeper. Usuni was on the bench, but he was still part of that group. And it's a great achievement for him, right, to be in that group with guys like Messi. He was in there as well. A bunch of other really good players. And that goal at the 96th minute from Mirto Usuni, I don't think people understand. People are calling it a tap-in. Nothing but it was not a tap-in, bro.
Not a tap-in.
Because you had a great cross from Danny Pereira. Beautiful lofted in ball to CJ, who CJ's had to pull off some acrobatics. He's a very top player. His physique is that of a striker. That's why Nico transitioned him from left wing to forward. I asked him this in Minnesota. That's a whole other topic. But the header in from CJ, that is you have to instantly think about what you're going to do. And the ball was behind him.
That's what I was
He has to come back and position his body in a certain way where he's able to get into the back of the net. How did you see his goal?
No, yeah, exactly. It was slightly behind him. He had to how would you say this word? Contort his body to be able to fish that in. And you could tell just by the fact after he got it in, he fell and like it was in an awkward position, but he managed to get behind it and get it in the back of the net. And then his reaction, he just stood in the goal. I mean, his reaction was priceless.
And what I've really liked about the reaction that you're talking about is he's finally celebrating these goals. Remember when Usuni was going through a moment where I'm not celebrating anything? He went MIA from social media for a bit, right? So it's good to see that Usuni is celebrating these goals. He's feeling himself. He got the man of the match. That just boosts his confidence heading into the most crucial part of the season, heading into a historic U.S. Open Cup final, the first one in club history. I think this is great that it happened. I wouldn't mind if anybody scored the winning goal. I'm really happy that it was Mirtu Usuni because he needs these kind of moments to grow to grow himself as a player and as a leader, as a goal scorer for Austin FC. Yeah. But credit to CJ. Alex mentioned this post match in the mix zone. He asked CJ, he was like, hey, in Minnesota, it was the other way. Usuni got the header that was saved by Day St. Clair, and the rebound fell to you. This time it was slightly different, but it was reversed. You had the header, it went to Mirtu Usuni. He finished it off in the back of the net, and he asked him about his, partnership. And CJ Fodry, he mentioned how, they both make really good runs towards the end of the game, and they complement each other. And it's crazy how what we expected from the Brandon Vasquez and Usuni partnership, we're seeing it from the CJ Fodry and Mirtu Usuni partnership. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks that Brandon Vasquez went down injured, but it's really good to see that out of a tragic event, the team is able to rise and find solutions. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And it was by no means a tap-in.
No, it was not a tap-in. No way. I tell you what, if it was me there, I don't know if I would have been able to tap-ins. A tap-in, I could do. Anybody could do.
100%.
I don't know if I'll be able to do that. So, yeah, it was a great finish for sure.
It was a great finish. Usuni finally overtakes Brandon Vasquez as the leading goal scorer for Austin FC. He has 6 goals in MLS. Brandon Vasquez has been out for quite a minute, but it's great to see that Mirtu Usuni now officially is the leading goal scorer. And I don't think he's going to finish with 6 goals.
No,
there's no way. I bet he gets to 10 before the Open Cup is said and done.
By the end of the regular season.
The end of the regular season and including playoffs.
I could see that.
I think he hits 10 goals this season. Nowhere near enough what we would want and expect from a guy like Mirtu Usuni, but double-digit goals is at least something that you could say, hey, I did it my first season here. Next season, I'm going to do something different, something better. Because you know how he was talking when he pulled up.
Yeah.
He's saying breaking records, this and that. Yeah. And let me say this. If Usuni does not score the 50, 30, 40 goals that maybe breaking records is synonymous with, if he wins the Open Cup final for Austin FC, in the history books.
Yeah, in the history books.
That's a record.
Yeah.
That is something he will be remembered for.
Yep.
And I even had a hot take, man. Maybe if you could just give me your answer real quick on the Discord chat. I got cooked by Sama.
Okay.
But everybody seemed to agree with what I said.
Okay.
Today, if you ask me, what 10 do I want in this team? Either Sebastian Driussi of 2022, right? Whatever he was, 2022, 23, 24, Driussi overall, or Mirtu Usuni, I'm taking Mirtu Usuni 10 out of 10 days, mate.
That's 100%. That's a hot take.
It's a hot take, I understand, but let me tell you why.
Okay.
And it's leading into what this guy told us post-match, right, in the locker room. Everybody was making fun of him. They were saying, oh, he went with his national team. He didn't even play. He was dealing with an injury, right? He said that he had an injury against San Jose. He wanted to play against San Jose. He scored against San Jose. Once he got his goal, coach took him off, got on a flight, went to Albania. He was in Albania. The national team coach said, hey, you got to make a decision. Either you play for Albania or you save yourself for Austin FC. We're not really playing a final. We have the World Cup qualifiers. There's a friendly and a World Cup qualifier. And he said, you got to make a decision. Do you want Albania team time or do you want to save yourself for Austin FC? And Usuni said, I'm going to save myself to fight for the final.
Yeah.
You think Driussi would have done that? If Argentina called them and we were in this position?
Oh, no. But that is also, it is hard to compare because it's Argentina. I mean, if you give the opportunity to Driussi to even play for the national team, I think to him that's amazing. That's an achievement in itself. You know, Usuni in Albania, he is the man, he is the guy, and he knows that he's gonna. If he skips out on this game, okay, next game I got it. For Driussi, it might not be that way. For Driussi, maybe if he gets called up, either I play or that's it. This could be it. So it's tough to compare, but I'm gonna have to disagree on your take, bro.
You have to disagree.
I'm gonna have to disagree.
I respect it.
Yeah,
I respect it. It's just Usuni transmits so much more leadership. He talks to the media. How many times did you see Driussi in front of a microphone?
But
how many times?
Very, very rarely. And then we also know some stuff behind the scene where he wasn't too quite fond of speaking to
at all.
So I mean, but that's outside the pitch stuff. I mean, you give me 2022 saucy Driussi, bro.
And this was tied into my take. Driussi scored 50 goals for Austin FC? Meaningless goals. What did he leave? What is his legacy here?
He's had a couple.
The World Cup final loss? What is his legacy here? leaving Austin FC hanging to go to River Plate, calling back, say, hey, I'm not going back. Is that his legacy? Is that y'all's GOAT? Couldn't be mine.
It's
Couldn't
not,
be mine.
not my GOAT. That's a good question. What is his legacy, right?
What's his legacy with Austin, mate? The Western Conference loss? You want to hang your hat on a 3-0 defeat to LAFC?
He was robbed of the MVP, though. In my opinion.
Hanny had a good season.
Hanny did have a good season.
In our point of view, he was robbed.
In our point of view,
maybe
he was
the league's
robbed.
point of view, it's different.
That is that's a good question.
It's honestly a good
okay,
question.
look, I tell you this: if we go on to win the cup, and Mirtu is a big part in doing so, already eclipsed Drusi's legacy, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to the next topic. But you cannot deny Usuni's commitment to the team. You can criticize him for the goals. You know, he in Minnesota, he pulled out his phone and he was like, look how much I ran. He said the only player that ran more than me was Brozovic in the World Cup. And I later that night, I was, Brozovic World Cup. Oh, shoot, this guy ran like more than 10 miles. Usuni ran 9 miles in 120 minutes against Minnesota after coming back from being injured in Albania, made the decision to fight for the final with Austin FC. His commitment, bro.
His commitment. And what is one thing that sticks out to you and to me, to people, when when things weren't going his way, what was his attitude?
You know what it was.
It was like, I've yet to see that from that man, Usuni. And I love it.
I agree.
I agree.
And with MLS season pass, they were talking to him before the Seattle game. He said that he would die for Austin
Awesome.
FC. He would die for his teammates. I believe
that.
him, bro. A lot of players might say that to look good in front of the media. I believe Usuni. So
Love it.
that's my take, everybody. I would take Usuni over Sebastian Drusi because of not just because of the production on the field, but everything that a soccer player is for an organization. Outside the pitch, leadership,
attitude,
putting the example, the attitude. Drusi never had that for Austin FC.
Yeah.
That's my take. Might get in trouble for that.
Yeah,
with
someone
the fans.
might clip to send it to Argentina, bro.
They can send it to Saudi Arabia. I don't care where it goes. I'm just talking about our own fans. I know I see so many Drusi jerseys at Q2 every match day.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, do you not remember how he left the club?
But that's the thing with you, bro. We know we're in, right? I meet a lot of huge casuals. You know, our homie Danny. He's a big Drusi fan.
Yeah,
there's
a big.
A lot of casuals that don't really know the way he exited. Really see how
it was nasty the way it ended.
It was
nasty the way it ended.
Disrespectful.
And what I know now to what I knew then amplifies my take that I just dropped.
Disrespectful way to leave.
But anyways, another guy I want to talk about, CJ Fodry.
Oh man,
Taylor Twellman, when he provided the assist to Mirtu Usuni, he said, have you seen anybody over the last 12 days have a super sub kind of run like CJ? He said, no. I got to agree with Taylor Twellman. Right here on my notes, I made sure I got this one right. CJ has delivered 3 goal contributions to win matches in the last 4 MLS games for Austin FC. Austin has won 4 of their last 5 MLS games. That's 12 points out of a possible 15, right? If I did my math right, I went to school, finished it. Hopefully I did that right. And you just got to give credit to this young lad.
Yeah.
In the post-match after the Seattle game, he had the Landon Donovan throwback jersey. That was his coach. Santiago natives there, right? Okay. They have a little bit of a connection. Calls him LD and everything. Calls him coach and stuff. But this guy, CJ, I mean, Ozzy dropped a really good point. He said every championship team has a secret weapon. It's CJ. You bring him off the bench. Lately, his energy is just out the roof, bro.
Yeah, I keep going. I'm sorry, let me cover it. But I'm just, what a moment for this young player, bro. What a moment for the 21-year-old. When he comes on the pitch, he is visibly looks like the best player on the field. I know he's coming in. There's tired legs everywhere. These are also instructions that we know that Nico has given this young player is go out there, take players on. You have fresh legs, go at them. And his energy, what he brings to the team in that moment where we need him. I mean, against SKC, he hit the crossbar. He was there to score your first. Look, this is just you come off the bench against Kansas City and you score the game winner. Which is your first ever MLS goal in your career, right? So we were hyped in that. And then the Dallas game, of course, was a disaster. But then in the U.S. Open Cup, to come in and do it again to send the team to the first ever final. And then against Seattle to provide the assist. What a moment for this young player. What a moment. And, I mean, Yeah, this is amazing, and we got him in in the draft.
Yeah, in the draft.
In the draft, so
Yeah.
what a moment for this young player. I wish him. I want this to keep going. I want him to keep working hard, and who knows where this could go.
Exactly. Who knows where this could go? You know what I'm saying? And, Coach Nico made the decision early on in the season to transition him to a more of a striker role because of some qualities that he saw. His physique, he's very tall. He can still probably get bigger. He's working out and stuff like that.
And if we're being honest, I don't think anybody saw this coming.
Well, there's people. No,
I mean-
I will disagree with that because I want to send a shout out to Maiji Scott and some of the lads from Suffering from Joy. I've been listening to everybody's pods, but a lot of people have been asking for CJ help of CJ, but no, I don't. A big chunk of the fans just didn't see it possible because of Rodo's been saying that the gap between MLS Next Pro and the first team is very big. But what I said is, CJ was never an MLS Next Pro player. We drafted him for the first team. We sent him to the second team to find minutes. And that's what Coach Nico said as well. He's like, you have Mirto Suna, you have Brandon Vasquez here. The minutes are going to go to them.
Yeah, Bucari,
right?
Yeah.
Because of the unfortunate event where Brandon Vasquez gets hurt, you see the resurgence of CJ Fodry. And a lot of the times, that's how footy works. The guy in front of you, he gets injured and you get your chance. And you better take it. Because if you don't, it's like, man, what could have been?
Yeah. I mean, maybe there were some fans, like you said, Scott maybe could have mentioned it, but I just don't see how someone could see this kind of run that he's in. I mean,
Oh, no, of course not. Of course
and
not.
then, we've seen CJ come off the bench before, and I just have never seen this sort of explosive coming out of him. I don't know what it was to finally get that switch, but I'm very happy that he's able to provide for us.
Coach Nico, he said post-match, he says, it's CJ's nature. We don't need to tell him much because he's somebody who experiences football with that energy. Diego Valencia asked him, like, Coach, what do you tell CJ Fodry before he comes on late in a game? Because he's been so influential in matches. What's his deal? What do you tell him? He's like, man, we don't really tell him much. Like, we just let him cook. You know what I mean? But this guy, CJ, on an incredible run.
What a moment for
We asked AI to create the man on fire. Apparently, social media really like this.
Yeah.
Winning goal contribution against Seattle. Winning goal contribution against Seattle. Winning goal against Minnesota. Winning goal against SKC.
Yeah.
What a run
What
for
a
the
run.
youngster in Minnesota. I baptized him as the boy who became a man. And people were saying, no, that he's been a man, this and that.
People DM me that video, like, yo, that headline, "This is the game he became a man," was pretty funny.
Honestly, I felt like Peter Drury there for a bit.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I honestly felt,
Yeah.
I was like, man, something just came over me.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in the box and CJ scored the goal. As soon as he scored the goal, I saw the net swish. I packed everything up, put everything ready. It was the last minute.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, it
So
was the last minute.
I put my backpack on. I went to make sure that the stadium was behind me, took the selfie video. My boom. And I was like, let's go. I didn't get to talk to him post-match, but that's another topic. But this guy, CJ, did it against Minnesota's SKC, and today we're talking about the Seattle performance. And, we got to give credit to the way that he stretches to find that Danny Pereira ball headed back to Osuna. And it's another thing that's very difficult. That ball, if anybody in the world puts it, or not anybody in the world, but if you and I try to do what CJ did, that ball is hitting the top of our head and it's going to the corner kick. It's going to a goal kick.
And I'm getting a concussion.
But the fact that he gets the right part of his forehead on it to keep the ball down and direct it towards his teammate, but we said it was a little bit behind Mirto. There was people were afraid that Osuni was off. VAR confirms that he wasn't.
It was close.
It was very close.
It was close, yeah.
I thought he might have been.
I thought he
might have been. I think we got away with it, but footy has luck, right?
Yeah,
you need luck in some games. But this guy, CJ, I mean, hopefully this isn't the end of this fire run that he's on because there's some important games coming up. And funny, I didn't post this yet. I've been waiting for when the final to come around. But I asked Komenich, Jan, I told him, I was like, hey, Komenich, at the end of Minnesota, I said, Komenich, I know CJ's your boy. Y'all been hanging out a lot, right? Y'all been buddies forever. You guys have a good group. Him, Owen, Danny, CJ, Riley Thomas, Robert Taylor's in that mix now too. The question was about golf. I was like, does CJ deserve a new set of golf clubs? You know golf clubs can run a pretty price tag.
Yes,
they're expensive. We don't play golf, but
I don't know, but
you walk into Dick's and you
that's
see
what I
the
was about
golf
to
section.
say.
You know
Every
what
time
I'm
I go
saying?
to Dick's, I'm like, whoa.
Whoa, just one. It's quite
it's
pricey.
wild.
I asked Komenich, I was like, you think he deserves a new golf club set? And Komenich laughs. He's like, man, you know what? If he delivers in the final, We'll get him some new golf clubs. I was
You,
like, all right.
you want a set? That's wild.
That's like 5K, no? 10K?
Maybe it could go up there. I don't know much about golf, but they're pricey for sure, bro.
If they all pitch in, I'm sure it'll be nothing for those players. Anyways, credit to CJ. He's on an incredible run right now. Hopefully this isn't the end of it because the team needs that source of goals, right? It's been a difficult season for Austin when it comes to the offense. On defense, they have found success, but an unlikely hero, CJ Faudree, has risen from I wouldn't say the ashes, but he's risen from the bottom. And now, there's people that are starting to make chance for him.
From childhood to adulthood, like you
He's
said.
the boy who became a man in Minnesota, CJ Faudree. Stuver, he says that he was asked about the trophy. A lot of fans are talking about, hey, Stuver, Alex asked him, have you heard about fans wanting to build you a trophy? Sorry, build you a statue outside Q2? And Stuver goes, we can talk about it after we lift the trophy. And he says that he's never seen a soccer player statue come out good. Referencing the Ronaldo
the
Ronaldo one.
The D-Wade. I know it's basketball, but
The
yeah, you're
Beckham
right.
one is kind of nice, though. He's just kicking the ball. I thought it was pretty nice.
Oh, I'm talking about the one where they tricked him. Remember?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Somebody mentioned the Henry statue outside the Emirates. Apparently, that's really nice.
Yeah.
But now, Stuver very cheeky. He's like, let's not jinx it. Let's talk about it after we win a chip.
If I'm being honest, I think it's kind of wild to talk statue right now. I love Stewart, right? But
Of course. What about
It's
after a
wild.
chip? After a trophy, you think is more appropriate?
No,
He's been here
bro.
for 5 years. Leader of the fan
think a
base,
statue
leader of
is
the community.
wild, bro. I think a statue's pretty wild, and I love Stewart. I think Stewart's our GOAT.
Don't tell me you want building for Drusy.
No.
Oh,
I don't think.
okay.
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. But I love Stewart.
I might get cooked for my Drusy take earlier. I might get
You
cooked.
will, bro. You will.
But it will age better. Give Usuni the same time that
I
Drusy
think-
was here. Usuni's gonna overtake
think
his
it will age
legacy.
better.
He's gonna overtake his legacy 100%. Shout out to Stuver. Shout out to Mirto Usuni for taking the break from not a break from national team, but for making the decision to push for the final. CJ Faudree, an insane run that this guy is in,
Man,
and I
what a moment.
want to sneak in an honorable mention. Danny Pereira.
Yeah.
We talked about him very briefly earlier with his match rating against Minnesota. The ball that he plays in is one thing, but the introduction of Danny Pereira to the Seattle game really, really made a shift. There was a shift in the possession. Austin controlled the ball after he came onto the pitch, and that's what Danny provides. He is the heart and soul, the motor.
Yeah.
He's the oil of the midfield. And guys like Ilya, they're great, right? But they can't do what Danny does. Owen is great. He can do a lot what Danny does, and they complement each other well. Owen comes off, Danny comes in. But Danny Pereira, the work rate, the effort from this guy after the difficult situation with Venezuela, missing the World Cup, didn't even feature, doesn't let that hold him back at all. In fact, I think he came back to Austin hungrier. Wanted to show like, man, I could have helped my country get to the World Cup, and you missed out on this. Let me show you what I can do. Monster game against Minnesota. Comes on against Seattle, gets a hockey assist for the winning goal. Nobody's really talking much about Danny. The security of the midfield after he comes on, I think people need to talk about Danny Pereira a lot more, bro.
And I think that's part of Danny's game. Is Danny is the type of player that would go off without a goal or an assist. People, there's times where he wins man of the match and people are confused because either he didn't score or didn't assist. But to me, he's that kind of midfielder, and I'm very happy to have him on the team.
Now, some other Austin FC news from the Seattle game. Dessler goes out. Guilherme Biru didn't even feature. There was questions there on the space. I asked a question. I was like, hey, guys, I'm all for Kolmanic seeing minutes. Maybe he won that position over Biru. I'm all for competition on a roster. But is there something wrong with Biru that we don't know about? And that was as soon as the game ended, when the content came out, when the press conference was posted, you hear Coach Nico say that Biru is dealing with a little bit of inflammation in his knee.
Oh, there you go.
And they want him to recover 100%, I'm assuming, for the Open Cup final. Mikel Dessler's a little bit of a different situation because he went down hurt. They take him off the pitch, but tests are showing that there's no injury. There's really nothing there that they can say, oh, this is on paper, this is what it is. So they're just trying to, Coach Nico said that they're going to try a lot of different things to have him ready for the final. And this is no knock on John. I said this on the space. Gallagher, this is not a knock on you. But my first choice at right back is Mikel Dessler.
Yeah.
All respect to Gally, the goal that Seattle does score in the game versus Austin, was a lot to do with John's inability to get back on time to defend his man, right? And it was a very quick goal. It was right out of the second half. It was maybe a little bit of a lucky touch because Stuver kind of didn't even make an effort to try to save the shot.
Plus, we know John isn't a natural fullback.
Exactly.
We just know he's not.
We don't even know if he's tired of playing that position, but he does it because he gets minutes there and he's a journeyman. What you tell him to do, he will do it.
Yep.
But he's not my first choice right back.
agree.
It's Mikel Dessler.
I agree.
And I asked this on the space, how much of a miss will Mikel Dessler be in the Open Cup final if he does in fact go down for 2-3 weeks? I think it'll be a huge miss.
I think it'd be a big hit. Yeah.
Big hit. But just so everybody knows, Biru is dealing with inflammation in his knee, and Mikel Dessler, they cannot really figure out what's going on with him, but there's something there that they cannot figure out. So hopefully, St. David's, this is why we got you guys a sponsor.
Let's figure it out.
Where you at, guys?
Let's figure it out.
St. David's, I need you.
Yeah.
Seaton, what's up? Do we got to bring back Brackenbridge? Let's not do it. Let's not do it. But St. David's, Seaton, we got to step
We
up,
gotta
man.
figure it out.
We got to step up. Partnership for what? We got to have these guys healthy. But anyways, really hope that these guys make it. We really need both of them. However, I really like Komanic's work in that back five with Austin FC lately. I think he's been doing great things.
I think I love John in a back five. Back four, defensively, get a little tricky, but in a back five, I think it suits him well.
And just real quick on that topic, the back five, they found success with it. It's been criticized against Minnesota. As soon as the lineup dropped, people were saying, what are we doing? We're going to lose this game. Do we not want to win? Do we not want to score? I was like, y'all, there's a game plan here.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the back five, I was like, bet, let's do it. Let's get it, because Minnesota was going to counter you. Minnesota was going to go after you 100%, and you were waiting for them. And that's what Austin FC did against Seattle. In the first half, I told Ozzy, I was like, look at their shape, bro. They're clearly waiting for the mistake. Rubio found the mistake, and he finished it himself. But to me, Austin FC's shape right now with that back five, which is really a back three with the two fullbacks pushing up and, helping in the midfield, that's Austin's formation. I really want them to continue with that, depending on the team for sure.
Depends a lot.
Depending on the team. But lately, they found a lot of success against top sides like Minnesota, like Seattle. And I wouldn't mind seeing it against Nashville come the Open Cup final.
Nashville, because we have RSL at the weekend, and I don't know if I would want to see that against RSL, but we might. You just never know.
The thing about RSL, we were talking about this at the Tifo painting. RSL is like a drunk guy at the bar that got nothing to lose. They're desperate for 3 points, bro.
Yeah.
Rubio was mentioning this post-match in the mix zone. He says that they're about to face a lot of teams that are in need. They're going to face a lot of teams that are going to go after them 100%, give them everything they got. And that kind of one of the last topics of, this kind of reintroduction of the English part that I wanted to ask you, mate, is what do you want to see in RSL this Saturday? Like, do you want to see the team go for the 3 points, knowing that you have the final right around the corner on Wednesday, short rest? You're not even going to be able to really train for this match because the coach and other players have said that when there's a quick turnaround, it's more recovery than training. So what do you want to see against RSL, man?
Best case scenario, right? This is just best case scenario is that we go into this RSL game with the final in mind and maybe do some things that we'd want to do in the final and still get the 3 points, right? But I mean, it's got to be a straightforward answer. We got to prioritize the US Open Cup final. I mean, there's no way that we could go at a already eliminated RSL and act as if it's do or die for this game, knowing we have a final days after. I think we need to be cautious, prepare, keep in mind the final. But I think, despite that, I think we can still get the 3 points. I'm very interested to see how we're going to approach this game. I want to know if we go with the back five again to prepare for Nashville, because you would think so.
It could be a dress rehearsal. You're right.
Yeah, it could be a dress rehearsal. But yet again, if we did not have this final waiting for us, I don't think we play the back five. I think we go at RSL and we try to go at them.
Flood the midfield.
But with this final, it's tough. But I would obviously
prioritize
the final for sure.
Two things. In Dallas, Brendan Hines spoke with us post-match, very upset, rightfully so. We talked earlier how Dallas, we got slapped. We got absolutely battered in Dallas. Didn't need to happen like that. Complete disconcentration, right? And Hines said, number one, You got to have the right mindset when you get off the bus. It's not when the referee blows the whistle to start the game. When you get off the bus, you got to be locked in.
You know what tells me that with him saying that tells me the sun was off from the get go.
Sun was off from the get go.
The vibe was not there from the get go.
He even criticized the mentality of some players saving themselves for the semifinal, right? Because and I said this earlier. This RSL game, it gives me a little bit of that Dallas vibe game, because against Dallas you had the semifinal around the corner. Against RSL, you have the final right around the corner. And Brendan Hines, he was very upset. He said we could have used this game as a dress rehearsal, and we didn't take this opportunity to try to put on the field what we wanted to do against Minnesota. And honestly, those words had me a little concerned. I was like, man, you know what? Hines is right. He's a leader. He sees this game from his point of view. If he's upset, I think there's a strong reason why. And obviously, you saw that Dallas game, that complete disconcentration. First minute gets scored on. Second half, 46, 47th minute, you get scored on. Where's the mindset? Where is that mentality? And Hines was saying, if guys were saving themselves for Wednesday, I better see it against Minnesota. And you did. They went 120 minutes. You did, right? You did. Yeah. So to me, these two games are very similar, RSL and Dallas, because of what's right around the corner. And let me say one more thing. Because you got the win against Seattle, you jump Portland in the standings. I think Austin FC is right now in 6th, tied for 5th with Seattle.
Yeah.
RSL is house money for me.
Yeah.
We talked about this at the Tifo Penny with my G Austin and some other folks that were dropping takes. Everybody was dropping takes.
Yeah, we were in their pain.
We were in their pain and just talking about Austin. I loved it. And because you got the 3 points against Seattle, does that give you a little bit more, room to have maybe a draw, or Seattle take these? I'm sorry, or RSL take these 3 points, because Rubio said, we're about to play some very needed teams, some desperate teams. Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, this is a drunk guy in the bar with nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? So it's better you get out of Utah or Nevada, whatever Nevada, whatever RSL is at, wherever state is at.
Yeah.
Get out of there healthy.
Yeah.
Get out of there with everybody ready to go. And make history Wednesday, October 1st.
Yeah.
I'm even wondering if we're going to call FCito players up. I doubt it, because they have a very important game on Friday against Portland where they have to win to make it to playoffs. So I'm very interested to see what kind of lineup. We get to talk with Coach Nico on Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm going to ask him a couple things on that topic, and hopefully he's not going to reveal his hand.
No.
But maybe he offers insight.
Maybe how he would approach this coming days.
100%, man. Now, Felipe Martins enrolls to the Harvard Business School.
I saw that.
Great job,
stuff,
Felipe.
Yeah.
Really good stuff there. The Academy boys, interesting results. The U13s and the U14s, they had 3-2 wins. The U15 won 3-0. The 16s lost 1-0. The 18s won 7-0. So really good weekend for those guys. And let's see, maybe another bit of quick news here. Mirtu Usuni, very Aussie-like. He says, if we don't win, none of us are happy at home.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. And he also says, and this kind of ties in with my juicy take from earlier, y'all. The improvement of Usuni since his family, his wife and his son have gotten here, you've seen it. He says that it's a significant support when your wife and son are here and you see your son smiling. Mate, that's fuel for any man.
Yeah.
Any person in this world, when your family is here, it changes you, bro.
Yep.
Shout out to Rubio, like I think we talked about a little bit earlier. Cheeky, steal.
Golazo
great
for me,
goal.
in my opinion, golazo.
Where did he get the legs for that, mate?
I was a little shook that he managed to get enough room separation to get the shot off.
Because he was also behind the defender. The defender loses time because he slips a little bit and he turns his body. As a center back, if the striker makes you turn your body, you're cooked.
Yeah.
You're cooked. This happened to me like 2 times.
Yeah.
I felt so embarrassed when that happened to me because I've been cooked like that. But shout out to Rubio. What I thought he was going to do was he was going to win the race, but when he got into the box, cut back, look for maybe somebody coming in. But no, he finished it. He finished it quite well. Great finish. But shout out to Rubio. Shout out to Stuver, like you mentioned, B. Really, deserves all the praise. But the man of the match went to Usuni. And I understand the folks saying, why Usuni? Why not Stuver? I understand that. But like I said, Humble King Stuver, did he have an influence? Hey, give it to Mirtu. Humble King Stuver. I don't know. But all right, mate. I think this is a good time to maybe... Is there anything else you would like to add?
No. I mean, this is a little slow start to get. I know it's been a little while since we've been on camera, since we've been on the mic. So, we had a very, very busy summer. Personally, I think it's been, for me, one of the busiest summers covering this team ever since we were on TV. Historic summer for me. We were at the Gold Cup final, covered some Gold Cup games, Leagues Cup, the MLS All Star. So might have gone a little too hard in the summer, but hey, we're here in a very important part of the season, and we're happy to be back. So.
Exactly, man. Happy to be back. I know folks are asking for Bali and Primo as well. They will be here soon.
They'll be here
soon. And yeah, just expect kind of the ball to start rolling again. But I cannot tell you how many people were asking me, "Where's the English pod? What's happening to English pod?" And people enjoy.
People think Bali had a son or something.
I thought he had a son. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll address stuff here in the next episode.
Well, all right. It's a good time to jump into the Patreon
pod
talk.
Let's get to the Patreon sections.
Let's go.